Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Awakened Souls podcast. I'm your host, Devin Brown, a Kundalini activator, spiritual guide, mentor, and hopefully just a great source of entertainment for you. Let's get ready to dive in. Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. So I took a week off from recording my podcast, from posting, from doing anything that involved pouring out into others, apart from my quantum circle, which we do have more spots available if you are looking for a one-on-one internship, if you are looking for a one-on-one guidance with that. We are going to be diving in and moving forward, and just overall very excited for the direction that we are going to be going and what we are going to be doing with that. So that being said, this episode is not going to be necessarily diving into anything super deep, but I'm going to kind of branch it off of how we talked about last time. This is supposed to be fun. This journey is supposed to be fun. This journey is supposed to be enjoyable. And there's a lot of times where it can seem almost like our lives are being shifted and changed and torn upside down. And we're kind of like, what is this? What is going on? Am I doing something wrong? And, and we tend to internalize and we look within and we try and figure out what it is that was an issue, like maybe where things are going, and we just can't quite put our finger on what it might be. And I wanted to let you guys know that healing sometimes is confusing. It is sometimes annoying. It is sometimes frustrating and sad and scary. But I think one thing you need to remember is when it seems like the world is in so much chaos, when it seems like the world is flipping upside down, when it seems like the world is moving into a place where you just are flabbergasted by the way people look at things or understand things, you need to remember that the only reason it seems that way is because darkness can no longer hide. You are shining so bright and moving so far forward in your own journey that those things that are darker than you, those things that just maybe are not as mature as you, those things that are just not quite ready for the world in the same way that you are ready for the world, begin to take shifting and begin to mold and move in a different way than other items and other things do. So what on earth do I mean by that? That's a lot of words. Well, today's episode is going to be a little bit more personal and a little bit more of my own tangible healing and some things that I've recognized. So I will just share recently that I found out over this weekend that I was disconnecting that my biological mother passed away. And it was one of those situations where I found out in a way that I was angry about, not going to lie. And I had these moments of seriously, bottom line, she actually passed away, July 3rd, I believe it was. And I did not find out till July, 12th. So almost 9 days, 10 days. And, biological family knew about it and no one reached out to me. And part of that reason is because they knew that I had set my boundaries of this toxic relationship is not beneficial. If you want to change it, we can try and change it, but I'm no longer going to cater to these behaviors, and holding fast to those and healing with those and having conversations that I needed to have with this person, having conversations that are healthy and beneficial, and repairing any chance there was, only to have it fall backwards again. There had to reach a point where I stepped back and said, okay, we're done. And I'm not going to tell you guys that I wasn't sad. I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't upset, but I can tell you more than anything, I was confused. More than anything, I was kind of confused by my own emotion, because mostly what I felt was relief. When you have someone who you are constantly wondering when you're going to get the phone call that they're no longer there, when you're going to get the message they're no longer there, when are you going to have them reach out again just to have them block your number for 6 months because you didn't give them the answer that they wanted to hear. This has been a relationship that isn't something that I talk about a lot. It's not something that I have a lot, but I'm sharing this for a purpose, and I promise you that. When you heal and you begin to shift and transform and change, people can look at your boundaries as if you believe that they are beneath you, that you believe that you are better than them, that you believe that you didn't care, so why bother telling you the information? Like, you know what I mean? Like, different things like that. And it was kind of one of those situations where I had a moment where I just was so angry at the people that I knew for so long without telling me, despite having needfully putting up the boundaries that I put up. This is still someone who I honor and respect, and am grateful for the lessons that I was able to learn through this relationship, grateful for the healing I was able to bring myself by seeing patterns that were taking place through generations and saying no more. Like, I will be a cycle breaker. I will no longer allow this into my life. And when you are healing, sometimes people are determined to misunderstand you. Sometimes people are determined to be the one that in the right, so they can manipulate the situation or twist the situation into whatever it is that they want it to be. But the bottom line is, I am choosing no matter what to respond with love. So I look at this, and I had every right to be angry. I have every right to want to curse these people out. I have every right to be sad. I have every right to feel like a victim, but I'm choosing none of that. What I'm choosing to do is look at it through the lens of, why are they feeling so broken and so misunderstood that they acted the way that they acted? And when you begin approaching your healing journey with detachment, when you begin approaching your journey recognizing that the only person you can control is yourself. You can't even control your emotions. What you can control is how you respond with those emotions. Because reaction, I'll be honest, reaction is not a choice. Reaction is kind of like a, that's why it's called a reaction. It's a spur of the moment, involuntary response. Like, that is a reaction. But as you begin to heal and as you begin to mold and shape yourself even deeper into where you are wanting to be and who you are wanting to be, like, you begin to blossom and to move and to mold and to manifest yourself into just beautiful, high frequency relationships. And this is not to say that I wish things would not have been handled differently. Of course they are. This is not to say that the actions of others is not going to affect the choices I make in the future, because no, of course it is. Like, my peace is my top priority. My joy is my top priority. And if anyone is purposefully coming in to disrupt that peace, then they don't get access to my energy anymore. And it's kind of one of those situations where I'm recognizing and moving forward and knowing that as I detach from the reactions of others, as I detach from the reasons that others are doing certain things, as I detach and say something is causing them to react or respond the way that they are, whether it is darker, whether it is unhealed, whether it is a trigger, like, that's not any of my business. I mean, to be quite frank, it's not any of my business. But what I can do is look and say, okay, I can respond in love. I can respond in tranquility. I can respond no matter what, knowing that I'm acting out of love, knowing that I am acting out of a place of understanding, that I am acting out of a place of abundance. And so all this to say, like, this weekend really showed me how deeply into my healing I have stepped, how deeply into myself that I have come to know, how deeply into who I am. Doesn't mean that I'm going to agree with everybody. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to get hurt by others. Doesn't mean, that I'm not going to have other parts of a human experience. But what it does mean is that I am able to respond in a better way. I am able to move forward in a better way. I am able to be light, to be bright, to be love. Because that's what the world needs. The world needs love. The world needs love so badly. And as sad as I was to hear of her passing, like I said, I was relieved more than anything at the conditions and the feelings and the things. Like, I've already had so many closure conversations with her in my 37 years of life that, like, I didn't feel like there was anything else that I wish I would have said. There was no, I wish I would have talked to her one last time. There was none of that. Like, and there shouldn't have been, and there couldn't have been, with the dynamic and the continual relationship ups and downs and roller coasters that played out for 36 years. Like, and I know that her body was just a temporary vessel. Like, her soul is not there. So I do tend to look at death very differently. I look at death as a beginning more than an end. And I think that's in part because I remember who I am. So now she gets to start her journey new again, and she gets to make different choices, and she gets to pursue her own highest calling. And hopefully I am paving the way for her to have an example of that somehow, you know. That being said, I just want to encourage you guys, like, when you are so set in a place of looking as the victim at things, you're never going to find peace. When you are set in reacting versus responding, you're never going to find peace. Now, I'm not going to say that you are never going to feel negative emotions. You're never going to feel those things you want to feel in a response. Like, that's inhuman. That's not part of being in this planet, part of being in this world. But what I can say is that you get a choice to choose you. You get a choice to choose your peace with every thought, with every action, with every reaction, with everything. And I'm sitting there because I went camping this weekend with my girlfriend, my best friend. Like, she's my soul sister. Like, we went out camping, and I was in the mountains with her when I got the news, and I was just kind of like, actually, for those of you who I'm like, when I got the news, I actually got it through someone who wasn't family, like in blood relation to us, who heard and was reaching out to be like, I'm just so sorry. I heard about the news. Like, I wanted to see how you're doing. And that's how I found out. And I was like, well, based on your text message, I'm guessing she passed away. Like, but I was where I needed to be, and I was with who I needed to be with when this time came. And I, like, when I said I am where I needed to be, my recording was exactly at 12:12. Like, I sat there by the fire that night, and I wrote a letter of release, and not in release in a way of, oh, I forgive you, etc. I forgave her so long ago. I forgave her for the things that I felt she did and the things that I thought she did that she didn't actually do, because I do believe we put our own lens on everything that happens to us. And I had released her long ago from any hurt that I felt she had inflicted upon me, but I wanted to release my emotions and release all of that stuff. And as I'm sitting there and I'm journaling, it's pitch black. I'm literally in the middle of the mountains. Like, there's no street lights, no nothing. Like, the campsite I had picked was the very top, highest one at almost the peak. Like, you can't get up there unless you have 4-wheel drive truck, like, which I do. And so surrounded by animals, and I'm sitting there and I'm have a fire going, and I'm writing in my journal, and this firefly just starts lighting up in front of me, literally just hovering in front of my face like a strobe light. And then as the tears came down my cheeks, it came over to my face and just started like batting my face almost with its body exactly in my tear line. Reminded me of almost like someone, a parent, when they are comforting their little kid and they give them a whole bunch of kisses on their boo-boo, or a whole bunch of kisses like where their tears are, their pain is, you know. And I felt like it was like a thank you. I needed that release. Thank you. I needed that. Like, thank you. I needed understanding. And then it flew away. And you can only control and only release what is yours to release. You are not able to control or release other things. And I know, looking at our journey, I wish I could have controlled her releasing addiction. I wish I could have controlled her releasing her mental health issues. I wish I could have controlled her seeking her healing instead of reacting all the time. Like, I wish so much that I could have controlled all of that. But I also know that that wasn't my journey. My journey is my own. My journey is for me. Her journey was for her. And this is a episode that is really all about helping you find your own peace. By detachment, by letting go, by realizing the only person who can disrupt your peace is yourself. Because when someone hurts you, instead of focusing on it and fixating on it and being like, I can't believe they did that, let yourself feel the anger, feel the rage, accept that, yes, I have a right to be this, or this. Yes, I have a right to feel this, or this. But will this serve me if I continue to hold on to this emotion? And if the answer is yes, then hold on to it. Because sometimes, yes, like, you need to hold on to it. I know during my own divorce period, I needed to hold on to my anger and I needed to hold on my rage so that I wasn't manipulated back into a toxic dynamic, because I had an entire group of fundamentalist religious people telling me I needed to go back. Like, I needed to, because divorce was a sin. Let me add that in there. I needed to hold on to my anger and rage for how I had been used and mistreated by everyone in my life. And I'm not just referring to one specific person. Like, I needed to hold on to that because it served me at that point in time. But eventually I reached a point of safety and healing where I was able to let it go. Anger is not a bad emotion. Unforgiveness is not a bad emotion either. Despite what religion might tell you, unforgiveness is not a negative. Unforgiveness is a recognition of a boundary being crossed that should have never been crossed, and saying, I will never be okay that you did this. That is in truth what unforgiveness is. It doesn't mean that it has to come without grace. It doesn't mean that it has to come in a way that is negative or that will hold you back. And I think there's a big misconception there from a lot of people with that. And so that being said, detachment is going to be your best friend. Detaching and recognizing that you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are fearfully made, and you are able to conduct yourself in a way where your peace is protected, your peace is understood. And if the emotions you're feeling need to be let go in order to bring you peace, then let them go. It's okay. Let them go. And so that being said, I just want to encourage you guys and just want to uplift you guys and just want to let you know that one of the reasons I can teach the way that I teach, one of the reasons I am able to mentor people the way that I mentor people, one of the ways that I'm able to do this is because I am someone who has walked in your shoes. I'm someone who has been there. I'm someone who I look at my own story and realize that I can empathize with almost every person, every situation. Something has happened in my own life that will allow me to empathize with them. And I think that's a gift. So my trauma has been a gift. It took a long time and a lot of work to move it into the place of being a gift, but it's there now, and I'm never going to let it become something else other than a gift. If you feel like my words resonate, if you feel a deep, visceral understanding and reaction to this, if you feel and understand that there is something going on here that maybe you want to dive deeper into, come join my Quantum Circle. You get one-on-one access to be able to send me private messages or voice memos, and you also get to have weekly focuses, like weekly channeled messages, weekly understanding, along with energy updates and energetic healings every month. Like, we're not meant to do this journey alone. And if you feel like you would like to work with me, I do have a couple more openings. There's a link in the bio, and I look forward to hearing from all of you and finding out if this resonates. And you guys have a very happy Monday.